Hey Fenton Seniors, it's Mrs. Georgakis. I'm here with a video today to show you how to use our new college application search and management tool, Cialfo. Many of you may have used Naviance in the past to sign up for college visits, to search for colleges, and to search for careers. We are no longer using Naviance, and we have moved to this new product called Cialfo, and we think you're going to like it so much better. It is much easier to use. It's more student-friendly, and so we're really excited about it. So the first thing I want to teach you all to do is how to sign in. I know that could be really problematic with Naviance. It's going to be so much easier now. So for Cialfo, the way you're going to sign in is you're going to go to fenton.cialfo.co. This is also going to be on your Fenton Shield as a link. So if you can't remember the link, no problem. It's going to be on the Fenton Shield. I'm going to have it in my email address signature for you to use as well. It should be super easy. You're going to see that it has login with Google or email. You are always going to log in with Google. This way, you don't have to remember a username or password. So we're going to click login with Google. Then you are going to log in with your Fenton account. The reason I am choosing my Gmail account is that my Fenton account will show you the adult side, and so that won't be helpful for you guys. So if you are logging in, you'll just click your Fenton account. You don't have to type in your username or password, just click Fenton account. Now, it might have you do that 2 times. The reason for that is if you are signed into your Chromebook and your computer with both your personal Gmail and your Fenton Gmail account, then that could be a little problematic in that it'll have you just confirm it. Won't be a problem, but you always want to make sure you're using your Fenton Gmail account to log in. So one of the main functions you are going to use in Cialfo is this schools function on the left-hand side. If you click on schools on the left, there are 2 things. The first one is search. And so this is just a great way to search for colleges or to use to add the colleges that you already know you're applying to. I know many of you came up with thoughtful lists with either Ms. McDougall or your individual counselor last spring. And I know many of you didn't get a chance to do that because of us having to go remotely in the spring. And so that's something that counselors were really aware of and that we are going to work really hard to work with you this fall, even though we're starting remotely at first, to help everyone update a list or get that started. So let's say you already know some of the schools you're applying to. You can just type in that school name. So let's say I know I want to apply to Illinois State. If I look here, oh, it's not showing up. That's okay. The reason it's not showing up is right here, I have it selected on applying still. So it's only showing the schools I'm applying to in Illinois. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I click on all. All means it's going to show me every possible school that has Illinois in its name. And so there's 33. That's a lot. And so I'm going to go down and look for the one I'm looking for. Great, Illinois State is there. So I'm going to click add. Then it gives me an option of how I'd like to add it. Is this school on my long list? Long list means the list of schools you're considering applying to at first, like the really big list that you might be exploring. Short list is the list of schools you've narrowed down. So once you've looked and evaluated those schools, whether that's through virtual visits, reading more on their website, talking to their representatives, short list is the list that you've narrowed down. And then applying is the schools that you are actually submitting an application to. So ideally, we would like you to only list it as applying once you've submitted your application. So I haven't submitted my Illinois State application yet, so I'm going to put it on my short list because I know I am going to apply there. So now that that's been shortlisted, I want to look up other schools. So that's how you would look up a school that you know you want to apply to. Let's say you want to use the search tool to find new schools. And so we're going to X out the school name, and we are going to put in some other information. Let's say I'm a student who's really interested in studying biology. I can click biology there as a major, and it's going to show me every single school in the entire country that has biology. So in Cialfo, there are over 6,000 schools, and over 1,000 of them, over 1,200, have biology as a major. Now, maybe there's more than that that's important to me. So I'm going to also look at state, and I'm going to add some states. I'm going to add all the states that I'm interested in attending. And so let's say that my parents have put parameters on me that, Rachel, you are only allowed to go to schools in the Midwest. We need to be able to drive to see you whenever we want. We promise to tell you ahead of time, but got to be driving distance. We're not doing any planes. So if that's a parameter that myself and my family have decided that I'm only going to be maybe within a 3-hour driving distance, then I'm going to add those states. And that, okay, so let's just add those 3 for now. You could certainly add Michigan, Iowa. Those would all be within that 3-hour range too, but I'm just going to add those 3 for the purpose of showing you. Let's say that I know I only want to go to a small or very small school. I really want those small class sizes. I don't want lecture hall. I want to have that really great teacher-student connection with my professors. Or conversely, somebody who might really want only medium to large schools wants that big campus culture with maybe kind of a Big Ten feel of having lots of sports or other things to go to. But for this purposes, we're going to just say very small and small. Okay, so it's going to show me that there are 32 schools in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana that are very small or small that have biology as a major. So I'm going to X out this search button, but I do want to first show you that there's so many other ways you can search. You can search on the type of city, say in a rural community, small town. So let's say I'm like, ooh, I don't want to go somewhere that's very rural. I also don't want a really large city. I would like to be in a small town, a large town, or a small city. That's going to narrow that even further. So now it's taken it down to 18 schools. Actually, a little bit more because now we added small city. 18 was just for small town or large town. So 25 schools. And there's other things you can look at as well. If you don't want to list all of the states, you can just come and list the regions. But let's say you're like, I want to go to school in the Midwest and California. Then you would check Midwest, go up to states, and also add California. So lots of different ways to search for schools. Once you have all of the things that are important to you in your search in, you would hit this X. And then you would come over and you can explore these schools a little bit more. Some of those schools, you're going to be able to click directly on the school, and they have a very filled out page that has a lot more information. So Earlham College is a school in Indiana. It is going to show us a lot more about the school on the school's page. It's going to show their mid-range of ACT and SAT scores. If you have a score entered into Cialfo, which most people don't right now due to the pandemic, then you would show up on here as an orange dot. It'll also show you the average annual salary of people coming out right away, what their graduation rate is. That graduation rate is typically going to show you that 4-year graduation rate, and more about the school. Scattergrams are not going to show right now because scattergrams, what they show you is where students from Fenton have applied in the past and whether or not they've been accepted. It doesn't show you any student names. It's all anonymous. But we don't have that data yet into Cialfo. We will have it soon, and so you'll be able to see what kind of GPAs and test scores it might take to get into one of these schools. And it'll show you more information about average class size, what percentage of the gender distribution of students. It'll show you information about the ethnicity of students that attend, because I know diversity can be really important to students in their college search as well. And so that's something to take a look at. And there's a lot more. You can either scroll down or click on these top things at the top to navigate. If you want to go back to your search, there's 2 things you could do. One is hit the back button, and it'll take you right back. It's going to give it a minute to reload them. Another would be you could just hit search, and it'll take you back as well. So let's say we learned about Earlham and we liked it, but we need to learn more, then we could add it to our long list. Furthermore, when you are on this page, you can scroll over and learn more about these schools. So you can customize what's in these columns. So it'll tell you likelihood. It'll tell you like your likelihood of getting in based on the data from your GPA and test scores. Now, that might not show up for a lot of us because we don't have test scores yet. And so you might say, let's get that column out of the way. I'm going to exit out. This portals column will tell you how you can apply. This kind of blue wave feature means that you can apply using the Common Application. If there is nothing there, like there isn't for Alverno, they still have an application. It just means they use their own application that you would get from their website. If you see right here, this C, this triple C, that's like a tilted C on its side, that's the coalition application. And then this will say the universal application. Those are really more rare. Usually a school is going to be using either the Common Application, their own application, or a combination of both. So another thing is they'll show you all the majors from the ones that you selected. So you wrote in biology, or I wrote in biology. It'll tell you all the different kinds. It'll show you the state. It'll show you the percentage of students that are accepted, their average ACT and SAT scores. And then here, once we have our data uploaded, it's going to show you the average GPA and SAT for students from Fenton that have been accepted. And then it'll show you their deadlines. This, I think, is really helpful. You can see their first deadline. Lots of information here. And again, you can look at the individual colleges. You can either go to their page, or Eureka, for example, you'd click Overview, and you could do that for any of these schools, and it'll pop it out into a corner. So you can still see your search and also see the school that you're interested in applying to. Okay, so that's how you use the college search function. Now, if you go to Applications, it's going to show you all of the schools that you have already added onto your application list. These are schools you are definitely applying to. To see your long list and your short list, the schools that you're considering but haven't applied to, is still by going to schools. So you'll click on schools, and you're going to X out the search. And if you want to see all of those things, we're just going to X out all these search tools that we did. And then we're going to click on these things. We're going to click on long list. It's going to show you every school on your long list, short list, and your applying list. And so that is going to be a way that you can find them. Okay, so that finishes up our Cialfo training for today. Today, you've learned how to log into Cialfo. You've learned how to do a college search within Cialfo, how to add colleges to your long list, to your short list, and to your applying list. We are going to have more videos up about how to use Cialfo in the future, including recommendations and career searching and much more. So stay tuned. Thanks so much.